coach since 2012. Did my L1 then, and I owned an affiliate or a couple of affiliates, and then I recently moved to the Isle of Man, which is this little island in the British Isles somewhere. And I coach, personal train, and I've been involved with podcasts on the back end, so talking and discussing about CrossFit and my passion for it for a little while. And then I got given the opportunity to host this show from a very, very kind gentleman called Savan, who used to be head of media at CrossFit early days.
I know Savan. I watched his videos.
Oh, great.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
Mostly CrossFit games backstage, but yeah.
Yeah. So the behind the scenes stuff is that's his not his claim to fame. He that's his sort of his baby, you know, within CrossFit. That's what really makes it stand out. And have you managed to see any of this year's behind the scenes at all?
No, actually. I started to listen to his podcast when he had a podcast with Josh Bridges and Matt Fraser, and somehow maybe it was starting to get the same over and over, and I don't know. I switched to this different I don't know type of stuff. So that's it.
They had a really good dynamic, the way that they work together. Because obviously you've got Josh, who's a retired athlete, who's a very, he's got a lot of mouth and he's very, very fun. Savan's the same from a media perspective, having never competed. And then obviously Matt Fraser, who's one of the greatest of all time. So that was a really fun dynamic. And along the way, I think Matt was going into a different stage of his life and needed more time and to be that kind of athlete, you have to be able to just throw yourself and be obsessed about something. And I think he probably needed that for his family and his work and with HWPO. So that's probably where that went. But so thank you very much for joining us. We've got Povilas today from CrossFit Laisve, which is freedom in Lithuanian, from the city of Vilnius, which is the capital of Lithuania, I think. Whilst doing a lot of research for this, I looked into that. I went down a real rabbit hole looking at Lithuanian history. My God, what a history Lithuania has. If anyone out there has got a day to spare, maybe more than a day, click on Wikipedia, click on Lithuania and look at the history and dive into that. My gosh, you could be stuck for hours and days looking into it. What a rich history it's got. I had no idea. Like I was telling you, Povilas, I've got a good friend, a training partner from 10 years ago, Romas Rimkus, who's Lithuanian, very proud Lithuanian. And he tried telling me at the time about Lithuania and how lovely it is there. And it went in one ear and then out the other. But over the years, I've come to, respect what he talks about now. So, all good. So, Povilas, let's talk a little bit about yourself. Early life. Did you have you always grown up where you are now, where you're living in Lithuania? Was that where you were born and raised?
Yeah, actually, born in Lithuania. I was born in the different city, but it was like because my father still serves in the military, so he was dislocated in the other areas, but it's like 100 kilometers away from Vilnius, so it's not that far. Lithuania is like very small country, so but like most of my whole life I lived in Vilnius, same city we are located now.
Well, and what a city to have lived and grown up in. It's beautiful. There's worse places to have been born and raised. So your dad was in the army, and you said is he still in the services now? Did you say?
Yeah, he still serves in the military. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Like he's not that far from retiring, but
good.
He's still active.
And how old are you? How old are you, Povilas?
I'm 30 years old.
30, lovely. And correct me if I'm wrong. Is there mandatory service in the armed forces in Lithuania?
Actually, there was, but it was cancelled. For I'm not quite sure for how long, but it was it was renovated like a few years ago, but only under certain age you need to.
Yeah.
They can invite you. You get an invitation. It's like a roster.
Yeah.
It's like
Okay.
like lottery. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
lottery.
Yeah.
Maybe
Right.
you will be invited, maybe not. Yeah,
Right.
and it's until like 23 or 25 years old. Yeah, so
Okay.
it's what
Right.
it's what was renewed once again.
Right.
Like few
Okay.
years, 4 or 5
Right.
years.
Okay. So let's talk about kind of parents and your upbringing. Were you a happy child? Did you have a happy childhood growing up?
I guess so. I had like comparing, like knowing how life can be. Of course, the walls could be better, but I always, I never. In Lithuania, we are like only 30 years free country. So before there was little different times, and they were harder. So comparing to these times, my life was like perfect, but of course you can find some flaws, but no parent is perfect. But I can't complain.
No.
How to
Yeah.
say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good. That's a good way.
I had the childhood. I had toys. I played sports. Of course,
Yeah.
my father, because he was a military servant, he was like strict. Rules at the house were strict. So, but
Yeah. Yeah.
no child likes strict rules because they
Yeah.
want to be free and act like they
Yeah.
want. So
Yeah.
that's it. No more complaints.
No. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wanted to have more space, but when you give a child a space, there's something bad can happen. So
Yes.
I did. I
Yeah.
think I grew up okay.
Yeah. It sounds like you did. I've like I said, I had Romas, who was my good friend. There was another Lithuanian at my gym called Arida. I had some Czech people at my gym as well. And one thing that they all had in common, I'm 40, and they were just a little bit younger than me, so they're probably mid 30s to 40s now. And whenever they talked, they were always very happy, always felt privileged that they weren't growing up before they were around. So their parents had a lot of a harder upbringing than they did.
It was different times.
Yeah.
It's like day and night compared.
Yeah. So
yeah, so I already were born in a free country, so that's the difference.
Yeah.
A big difference.
Yeah, for sure. And the way that you think about things and process, you feel fortunate because you're so close to that different way of life, and you can hear about that and learn from it, and use that as kind of motivation to feel lucky to have been born when you were, which is lovely. It's refreshing to hear. So you're 30 now. And we'll come back to CrossFit in a bit, but when did you discover CrossFit? What year did you kind of stumble upon CrossFit and the idea?
Look, it was like 2014, I guess. I don't remember the month exactly, but I remember laying down in my bed watching YouTube videos. And YouTube algorithm showed me push and pull event where Bridges won against Rich Froning. And they were topless. They had big muscles. They have great stamina, endurance at it, and it blew my mind. And that was the exact moment when I knew that I have to try it, at least to try it, because I want to be as good as them, or maybe as to look like them, to move like them, and to just to, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was mind-blowing experience for me, laying down in my bed before I go sleep, and I see this video how they compete to each other. It was like mind-blowing for me. It was like other world.
Yes.
Anything I have seen before.
Yeah, for sure. And that was certainly the case for myself as well. I came via weightlifting, so Olympic weightlifting. I came via that route into CrossFit and discovered CrossFit. I guess in a similar kind of way, and people may or may not know this from the US, but Lithuania has a very, very strong strength background. So you think of strongman, you know, you've got Big Z, you've got Lalas, you've got this whole hot roster of really, really strong guys. World's strongest man, you know, probably, in my opinion, one of the best of all time, you know, in Big Z. There's this culture of strength. So when CrossFit came about and you saw it, and they could do everything else, they were really strong, and they looked the way they were, and they were chiseled, and they could run, and they could row, and they can do everything that they can in the gymnastic side of it. That visual must have been, you know, like as it is for all, like very inspiring. So the other sports that are in Lithuania now, I talk to quite a lot of Americans these days. I have done for a few years via CrossFit, and one thing that I've always how we say tongue in cheek, so a bit in a jokey way, in a kind of a joke, we always say that the American sports are only big in America. So NFL, baseball, basketball. And within the last 2 weeks, well, 3 weeks, everyone that I've spoken to has been a big player of an American sport in Europe. So it's kind of making me look really bad here. And I know from my friend Romas that basketball is absolutely huge in Lithuania. You've got one of the best teams in the world, you know, outside of the US. Is basketball ever been something that you've been kind of played or enjoyed watching? Are you involved with that at all?
Yeah, of course, we will watch basketball in Lithuania. I'm not a big fan. Like in the whole team in our gym, like are fans of one particular basketball team, Lithuanian team. So they are like watching every game. They are discussing. They are playing this. I don't know how to call it. It's like a game where you're buying players, but it's like simulation. You're not playing, but you're like a manager. Yeah. So,
yeah.
So
Fantasy.
everyone around me is very into it. They are like watching every game. When the team loses, they are like in a bad mood. So I'm not. So I'm the only one who like not into it. Of course. I check the score when the national team plays. Of course, there's a lot of NBA franchise schools built in Lithuania. So because I don't know, because we have a potential, and somehow I don't know who, but someone brought the money into Lithuania to build those facilities to like help those new talents to climb up. Yeah, so basketball is big thing in Lithuania. At this moment, it's a little bit of downfall, but it's still like top 10 team in the world.
Wow,
I guess.
Yeah,
as I remember.
It's a funny one.
For me myself, I'm not into basketball. I like to throw the ball. There are a few types of sports I like to watch, and there are a few types of sports I like to play. There's only one rule. If I can't do it myself, then I watch. If I can do it myself, I play. That's it.
Yeah. That's a good rule to have. That's a good rule to have. So, touching on that, then, basketball. Do you have many basketball players in your gym, and do they use CrossFit for their strength and conditioning towards it or not?
I would say, no, like players. You mean like those guys who play like?
Oh no, like, not at the top level.
Or they just play for fun.
Yeah.
Everyone in Lithuania plays basketball for fun on Sundays. It's like it's like some people go to jog, some people go to play basketball on Sunday.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't have the information how many, but I would guess a lot.
Right.
To play for fun, yeah. Because everyone has a ball at their car or in their house, so it's the basketball courts all over the city. So you just grab a ball and you play.
I guess that's the equivalent in England or Britain for like football, so soccer pitches. You know, every child grows up kicking a football around and playing soccer all the time. So I guess it's the equivalent there. and we haven't really, basketball hasn't taken off as well as in Lithuania over here, but there are new things being set up, especially in the cities. We've got like a base basketball league being set up. I'm trying to get in contact with one of the organisers actually, because it looks like they put a lot of money and time into it. So it'll be interesting to watch that. Basketball is not a sport that I've been very closely kind of watched for. I know Michael Jordan, obviously. I know the bigger names.
Yeah.
I grew up in the 90s watching them. And actually, speaking of which, Vilnius is twinned with Chicago, isn't it? I think. So you're twinned in the US with Chicago, which I thought was quite funny with the Bulls being from there.
Yeah. No, but they were located not in. Repeat. You talk about Ball Brothers.
The Chicago Bulls, so the basketball team.
Yeah.
So you're twinned. So the Vilnius is kind of twinned in the US with Chicago as a city. It's this thing where they twin and they're, you know.
I don't know anything about it.
That's fine.
I know that one Lithuanian plays in Chicago Bulls and one Lithuanian Karnišovas like is in the management, but with Chicago Bulls, right. That's it. But
okay.
I don't know anything about this twin thing.
No. So growing up then, so let's say your teenage years, what sports were you into? What did you play?
So first sport I tried was football. Like soccer, but we call it football. There's no such thing as soccer.
Good.
Yeah. So first sport I tried was football because the coach came to our class at school and he invited the kids who wanted to try to play. So like a coach was collecting a team of children certain age. Yeah. So that was the first thing I tried, but I played like rugby. I didn't understand at the time how to play correctly, so my defense was grabbing around the waist and lifting. Everyone was mad at me. Now I think like if my father knew my potential at grabbing people, I would be pretty good rugby playing considering my like strength and power like today. So that's like I always joke about it. Like I was playing football like rugby. And not long ago I understood that it's not for me because I didn't have the right coordination for it at this certain age. So somehow my motivation went down and I like cut the football out from my life.
Yeah. Okay.
Next thing came to my life was martial arts because I was a little bit chubby because I haven't been doing any sports. Children in school were pretty hard on me because of it. So my mother decided to sign me to these martial art classes to teach me how to defend myself.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did it for like few years and then but it haven't changed anything because again I came to the those classes and there was a bigger guys, stronger guys, and I still was chubby and same thing on and on. So I had a lot of pressure of being a little bigger than my than a guy same age, but I think it's good because it grew a thicker skin on me. Somehow. Yeah. So after that, this puberty started.
Yep.
I became taller. I became lean. I became more athletic. So then I started to realize my athletic potential. So there was a period in school that we went to classes after the afternoon and in the evening. The only option when you could train was in the morning. So only one thing I could find to take a part of was football again. So I came
Aha.
back to football. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
But right now I was a little bit more athletic, and I was pretty good at it. Of course, my uh, uh, ball control
Yeah.
wasn't very good because I didn't have any practice. I was
Mm.
fast.
Yeah.
I was like pretty strong, but it's not the case in football. You need to know
No.
how to control the ball.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we had a beef with the coach because coach was very um, he was if someone goes wrong, he starts shouting immediately. So, and I
Yeah. Yeah.
was already like I had my opinion.
Mm.
I at this moment in my puberty, I didn't have any like authority. I only questioned the
Yeah.
authority, so we had a beef. So that's how my football ended. Like
Right. Okay.
again. And funny
Interesting.
thing, I decided I really liked martial arts, and then I came back to martial arts again. So my whole
Okay.
childhood was football or martial arts, but then
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
took this thing seriously, and I from 14 years old till my like adulthood, I trained martial arts, karate in particular.
Oh,
So
right.
I was
Okay.
pretty good at it. I
Yeah.
became a national champion in age category 16, 18. Then I
Wow.
went to European Championship. Was disqualified in the semifinal because you can't hit in the face. But
Uh,
my opponent had a beard.
uh,
Already, he was from Azerbaijan. I hit it right in the collarbone, and he
uh,
showed the referee. I hit him in the face and
uh,
was disqualified. Yeah, so it's a funny story to remember now, but it was very
yeah.
painful back then. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's
So
great.
it was all combat sports.
Yeah.
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 So and after that, my first year adulthood, like I was 18 at the time, and it was my first national championship, karate national championship,
Yeah.
competing with adults,
Right.
and that's where I saw the gap. My physical preparation
Yeah.
comparing to the older guys who are like 25 to 30 years old,
Yeah.
how big of a gap and how much work I need to input in my
Mm.
training.
Yeah.
Like yeah, so to then was it was a time when I understood how much I need to work
Yeah.
to become their level, and then I understood. Then I realized I need to search for something to improve
Yeah.
my athletic performance. Yeah, and that's
Right.
how I
And
found CrossFit.
incredible. What that's such a lovely pathway into CrossFit.
Yeah, so
You
it's like a natural
yeah.
path. One thing led to the other.
Yeah. And
Yeah, so
when you took on CrossFit, did you carry on with karate whilst you were doing CrossFit, or did you fall in love with CrossFit the sport and just want to do that?
first when I started doing CrossFit, I did it myself because there were
Mm.
no CrossFit gyms in Lithuania yet.
Mm. Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
watched YouTube videos and I tried to replicate those movements. I
Amazing.
didn't knew I didn't have any information. Just try to replicate like keeping pull-ups, push press with
Yeah.
the barbells that don't have those that don't spin
Yeah. Yeah.
hearts on
Yeah.
your
Wow.
wrists. Yeah, yeah. I don't have any videos from that time, but I would be very funny to watch how I did
Yeah.
like keeping pull-ups and things like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
um, and I don't remember exactly if I competed after when I started to do CrossFit because yeah, it's like two memberships. You need to pay for the karate membership and you need to
Mm.
pay for the gym membership. And
Mm.
I think it was like that. I chose to become stronger. It was
Mhm.
and the motivation to participate in martial arts went down. Coach didn't contact me and he
Mm.
didn't even bother to to understand what is happening, why I just cut out from the training. So one thing led to another, and I just chose the other path, like athletic performance.
Yeah. That's interesting, because the last paragraph of the 100 words is learn and play new sports, regularly learn and play new sports. And from my experience as well, and from a lot of people, we come to CrossFit to help develop us for our sport. But then at some point, and it sounds like you did the same as I did, I realized that I could get all the benefits of doing my sport, but within the gym, and I could do it within an hour a day, and I can go home and be on it. And then at some point, you fall in love with it, and you want to own a gym, and you want to be a coach, and you want to. There's this pathway that you kind of go down as you know, guys with that they're interested in athleticism and work rate, and we fall in love with that environment, which is very common, I'd say. But it's nice to hear that you basically did the same as what Josh Bridges did. He saw these videos online, and he found CrossFit.com, and he just tried to replicate what he read or what he heard, and just tried to do it in his gym, and then found, you know, an affiliate and a gym that did it. So you found CrossFit in 2014. You've kind of parted ways with karate, so that's behind you now. At what point do you join an affiliate or a CrossFit style gym? When do you do that?
Yeah, so it was still 2014. Yeah, when the first CrossFit affiliate was opened in Lithuania. So yeah, I signed for my first class immediately. As soon as I got the information how to do it and where it's located, that's how I started. So it's like from the very beginning, the first CrossFit gym was opened in Lithuania.
Right, lovely. Okay, and so you're attending the gym. How important was the community to you at that point? Did you as a young, what were you, 18, 19-year-old guy? Steve? As an 18, 19-year-old guy, how important was community to you at that stage?
At that stage, community wasn't important for me at all. My only goal was to become stronger, to lift more weights. I immediately found a competition, like dudes like maybe a little bit older than me, but we on the same level. So we were like competing every session. We were competing against each other. So every session was like a throwdown. The only thing that like was my motivation, and I was driven by competing, because I always liked to compete, but I never liked losing. So I found a new place where I'm had the chances, and I'm 18, 19 years old, and those chit chats, I was like into the gym, immediately started training. After session, I go home, I rest, and then I'll come back at the gym in the evening again, and I train again. So that was the beginning of my CrossFit. So community thing I started to see a little bit later, because at the time I finished my school, I started university. But the subject I chose to learn, I understood like what wasn't my thing, and then I was like stuck in at this moment in my life. I was stuck. I didn't. It was very hard to make a decision what I want to do next, because I felt that the degree I chose wasn't right for me, because it led to the laboratory.
What degree was that then?
Biochemistry, but bioengineering, but it's like biochemistry. But like after a few years, I understood how much time it will cost me to finish it. I don't even like it. So it was it was a big pressure. I was trying to avoid, but it still like came back to me, and I had to make a decision. Yeah, and I was like studying, doing CrossFit. I felt good. I was pretty strong. That's it. Yeah, but when I already decided to cut out from my studies, I had to find a job. I still still was living with my parents. I didn't have any income. I didn't like any like other stuff other than sports, and I had to make a decision. So yeah, so I tried few jobs like for 1 year, but again, opportunity came. Opportunity came. The gym, CrossFit gym I was training in, were searching for front desk person at
Okay.
the front desk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so that was my first job in a CrossFit affiliate. I was working at front desks. I were welcoming. I was welcoming people coming in. I like checked their memberships. I was calling on retail to people who were at their first class and didn't came back, or to calling people who like had a membership but didn't came back after some period of time. Yeah, so I worked.
Yeah.
That was my main job for like 1 year.
That's really interesting. Because what that
And
does.
once again, yeah. And once again, I got lucky because I loved sport. I loved CrossFit. I already was in this community thing because I was working at this gym. I was a part of the staff. My work was to communicate with every person that came in, so I got to know them. So then it was the time where community started to matter to me.
Yeah.
Who I'm working with, who I'm talking day in and day out. So yeah, so that's when the community stuff started to make an impact on me.
Amazing. And you'd have been 19, 20 then? Would that have been about right?
Yeah, 19, 20,
yeah. So not long after. Right. Okay. It's so interesting that it wasn't a case of a development or change in you as a person. It was what you were exposed to at the gym. So you were going to the CrossFit gym initially to have fun with your mates, to compete. And again, that's a closed environment. So the sports that you were into before, that you were kind of in and out in, are very open. So other people are changing what you do. So with your martial arts and with football, whereas with CrossFit, you're in your lane. You're doing you, and no one can really change what you do if you don't let them. So you found this thing that is going to make you feel better. You're with friends. Whether you knew it at the time, that was part of the community. And then you get given this opportunity for a job, which then puts you in the seat, quite literally, at the front desk, learning about the people that are coming in the gym, getting to know them, getting to know their stories, understanding where they're coming from, why they're coming to the gym, building up that relationship. And that is what gave you the insight into why the community matters to the gym, which is fascinating at such a young age as well. That's such a unique story. And it's funny because now you're one of the generation that have been able to do that. You know, you've come in as a young man, first job is at a CrossFit gym on the front desk, and fast forward to now, and you know, you are where you are because of that, I'd have thought. But we'll come on to that in a bit. Actually, that's really interesting. That's very unique, I would have thought. How long after that did you do your L1 and become like go into coaching?
So look, so I was working at front desk in 2015. So I don't think it took a whole year, because the affiliate I was working in started to do this coach development program. So they created a program that they are trying to raise new coaches for their gym. Yeah, so it was like a system, because other coaches that worked in this gym was like were like teaching and sharing information how to teach classes, how to correct people, like not exactly like level one, like based on their own experience.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, I don't remember how long it took, but there were like 5 or 6 people.
Wow.
Yeah, it was actually Christmas party at the gym, where other coaches that were already working in this affiliate, they like suggested to me, "Hey, Paulas, maybe you should try it." And at the time, it wasn't my idea, but I thought, yeah, I like it. I maybe it was because I was still young. I didn't believe that I could become coach so young or so early. So it wasn't my own idea, but once I heard it, I immediately believed in it, and that's when I decided to sign for this coach preparation thing.
Right. Oh,
Yeah,
amazing.
and it went like naturally. I felt like I was in right place at the right moment. I almost felt lucky, because I always, once it started, I immediately felt in my own boots. Like I have to. It's my place.
Yeah.
I feel like me. So
Yeah.
I'm doing the right thing. Yeah. So
yeah. What a lovely feeling.
and it came quite naturally. I was. It wasn't hard for me to communicate with people. It was easiest part for me to communicate. The hardest part for me was to understand how to teach properly. But once you follow the steps, you are guided, and you always try to keep the same pattern and how to teach person those movements using those level 1, level 2 methods. That's when it came natural to me. And in 2016, I got my level 1.
2016, lovely. And where did you do that?
I did it in Poland.
Okay, lovely. What gym was that?
I don't remember the city, but I don't remember too.
No,
It was
right, okay.
a long time ago,
And
like 9 years ago.
Out of interest, did you have to fly or did you drive?
No, I drove by bus. Poland
Right,
is like 1,000 kilometers away. It's like not that long of a drive. Yeah.
Well, 1,000 kilometers. Yeah, a bus ride for 1,000 kilometers is quite the dedication, you know.
But at this time I was like 20 years old. I didn't have the money to buy the ticket for the plane to fly to Poland, because everyone was riding back then. If you fly to Poland, that means you are rich.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, amazing. So as a 20-year-old lad, you've got 1,000-kilometer bus journey to get your L1. That's quite a dedicated young man to do that. I did mine at the end of 2012, and I went to Stockholm in Sweden, so I had to fly because there wasn't one in the UK that year.
Yeah, of course. If it would be held in Sweden, I would have.
Yeah.
It would fly too.
yeah, cheaper flights. Yeah, and Sweden's such a beautiful country. So you did your L1. Do you remember who was there at the L1? Was it anyone that you remember taking it at all? Any names?
No, I don't remember any names exactly. Right. I don't know why. I remember that I had a pretty bad tooth pain the whole weekend.
Right.
I was always rinsing my mouth with water to relieve the pain.
Right.
And I think I had the mild seizure, like my temperature was a little bit higher than normal. And fever. Sorry, not seizure. So the whole weekend was like a little bit blur, and we had to do those workouts in Teams and attend the whole day to listen to gather this information. So it was a rough weekend for me. And immediately at the same day I came back, I went to this dentist to take care of my tooth. So it was like,
yeah, not
bad
pleasant.
luck.
Yeah, bad timing.
Yeah.
Was just out of interest, was the course taken in English or Polish?
Yeah, course was taken in English.
In English, right? Okay. I
Yeah,
suppose at that time, that was what, 2016? Did you say? I'm not sure. I'm not sure they'd rolled out, because they've started to do the L1 courses in different languages now. It's delivered in different languages around the world, but I don't think in 2016 it had been.
Yeah, but there's only two choices, or you could choose what language you would take test. So it was English or Russian, I guess.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I remember only you could choose the language you take this.
The exam in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exam.
Do you speak Russian?
Yeah, I speak Russian.
Yeah.
My mother is my mother came from Latvia, and she's like she's not with Russians. She's not Russian. She's the roots. Her roots are from Ukraine, but Ukraine is a Russian speaking country. Not all of it, but back then it was like pretty. Yeah, and my mother was living her whole life in Latvia, but she was still speaking Russian. With Russians, one thing, they don't bother to learn the language they live in country in. So my grandparents to this day, they still live in Latvia, but they don't even bother to learn the language. So that's the only language I can speak with my grandparents.
Which is quite nice. It's
but
good.
I still choose to speak English.
All right. Yeah. It helps me out. So my Russian is and Lithuanian is very limited. So we're at 2016. You've done your L1. Let's talk about the build up towards. So we're in 2025 now. So 2020. When did you launch CrossFit Laisve? What year did you start?
It's 2019, because we are like 5 years and 7 months.
Right. Okay.
Now. So it was 2019. Yeah.
Before COVID. Just before the world went mad. Okay.
Yeah. That's when we opened our affiliate.
Good time. Good times. So your launch in 2019. So we've got a few years then between 2016 and 2019. Just briefly, how did you go from getting your L1, being a coach, being on the front desk, being involved with the CrossFit gym where you're at? Talk me through the process that you went to be able to open your own affiliate.
Yeah, look. So I think I'm not the only owner. There are other guys. So the one guy, we are like owners together. We both worked in this first affiliate. I started at the front desk. He was a coach back then. He was my coach, and after not long after, we became friends. That's when we started to share ideas. Then the situation at the current affiliate wasn't so satisfying. Then my friend Edvinas, he was given the other opportunity to work in the other gym. It was not official CrossFit box, but they were like doing same stuff, but didn't pay a franchise. So but it was a better opportunity to like money wise to work from it. And he had a pretty hard surgery, and he was out for 3 months, and then he offered for me to cover his classes at this other gym.
Okay.
So I was working at this first affiliate. He asked me if I could cover his classes at this other gym.
Right.
Of course, I said yes, because I need at this time I needed money. Yeah, and then Lithuania is a small country. Vilnius is even smaller. Everyone knows everyone, and there's a big thing. Like at this time, I still was young. I kind of knew what I was doing, but I didn't knew that after first class I took at this other gym, the first affiliate I was working with will cut everything, cut out the cooperation with me. So,
Oh wow. Okay.
so it wasn't me who took this decision. Yeah,
Okay.
so I was cut out from this gym because, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know. Maybe it's not jealousy. It's like it's just business. I would say, because everything is pretty close. All facilities are like 20 minutes one away from the other, so people can choose where they want to go. Of course, they are choosing that one is closest to them, but it's But there are still people who drive like to the from one part of the city to the other just because of who decide to choose coaches, not the facility that's near them. So
and in that case, obviously it's tough, as you know now, as a part owner in a gym. It's those decisions aren't easy to make. But the thing is that the theory there is, if you understand that people are going to leave because a coach has gone somewhere else, as a gym owner, you should do everything that you can to try and keep that coach with you.
So those are the lessons we learned. So of course, we at the time we started opening our own gym, we only knew how what not to do. We still didn't have information what to do next, business wise. We knew exactly what not to do, how to not talk to your coaches, how not to treat your staff. So so of course we wouldn't switch to this other gym if everything would be perfect at this first affiliate, because at the end of the day it's a job. You need to create an environment for your workers to feel safe, and not to even discuss this opportunity to switch gyms, because it's still hard decision to go and work somewhere else, because new management, new people, you need to know, you need to like create those connections again. So it's pretty hard on everyone. So, but we still did this decision because at this time we felt like we had to.
And so 2016 you opened your doors. How did your launch and the first sort of 6 months to a year go? We're looking at approaching up to COVID, obviously, and I've got a post that you put up on Instagram talking about COVID and trying to stay open. But that period of time when you launched, your coaches are on board, the facilities are there. How well did that rollout go towards up until we had to close for COVID? How well did that first year go?
So at the beginning, so this place where we are right now, there was a gym before. There was a gym before. They had members, they had staff, but I don't know why they decided to sell the whole thing. But I think the main thing, that business wasn't going well. So they have their own members, they had their staff and stuff. There was two coaches that flew away because they weren't getting paid, and they said, "Screw it, we're leaving everything." So people with membership were left like on ice, without any coaches, without management, and then when that's where we saw an opportunity. That it's the opportunity for us to take over. It's of course there's a risk, but there are still a lot of pros that you already have members, already have equipment. Maybe not much, but it's good for beginning.
Yeah.
So that's how we started.
Yeah, good. Okay, so
we just took over with
right. And by this point, I'm just thinking about the community side of things, because leading up to COVID and when you shut, and there's a post that I've got that you put up. I'm just going to pull that up in a sec. At that point, I owned a couple of affiliates at that point, and I know damn well how hard that got. Let me just pull up this post. So at this stage, obviously, as an affiliate owner, we did everything that we could to, we needed to make sure that people knew we were still in the game. We wanted to continue to stay open. We didn't want to rely on them because we knew everyone was going to go through it. Really, it's going to be tough for everyone in terms of financials. But this post, it's kind of bittersweet for me to see this post. And the reason I say that is because you can really sense in here how much you're willing, and support your local box, how much you're willing to do in order to keep the gym alive and the affiliation alive and the community alive. But at the same time, you're asking people, as a small business, you're asking people to do what they can to support you to stay open. And I remember that feeling, because at the time you didn't want to make people put pressure on the community to kind of support you, but at the same time you kind of did, because you needed it. There was no other option. So that the decision to kind of put that post out and lean into the community, especially for you guys that had only been open for 7, 8, 9, 10 months, it must have been a really tough time for you guys, but you'd had enough time to just about get that community on board. I won't keep with it for too long, but that period of time over COVID, did that help bond your community to some extent? Did your community really help support you and keep you open at that time?
Yeah, of course. Not all of them, of course.
No,
but most of them were still paying their memberships. First COVID was like for 3 months, so it wasn't that long. 3 months. It didn't take that long, and the second one I would say it was harder. It was 9 months. First 3 months, the government was giving some money to those workers who couldn't work. So somehow we survived. Of course, it was a tough time, but we went through it. We of course we suffered, but it wasn't that big of a blow that we couldn't take somehow. Of course, there is a few things that government was supporting. Health workers, and part of community was still paying for the memberships. But
which is amazing.
But before the second quarantine started, we already knew that everything is gonna shut down soon. It was a matter of time when my friend came up with the great idea. We are giving away weights, ergs, bikes for memberships. For example, if you have a membership, not like month membership, but if you have a membership for the whole year that you're paying every month, we're giving you a concept 2 rower, or we're giving you a pair of dumbbells. So that was a brilliant idea. Before we shut down, we sold a lot of yearly memberships, and we just gave away everything we had. And after we were shut down for 9 months, we still had a lot of active members that were paying. Some of them still were paying to support, but others were paying because they got something from us.
Yeah.
We were doing some classes online, but I would say only like 5 to 10% of people were attending those Zoom classes.
Oh god, that sends a shiver down my spine, that whole thing. The reason I asked about that, and because of the short time you'd had before then to build up that community, so I've been open 5 years at that affiliate that I had at the time. So I had 5 years worth of community behind it when we went into lockdown. I think we were 6 months. So we had that initial 3 months from March till July, opened up again in August, and then we had a quite a long period of time. But we had it really stuck to me. It does to me this day. We had people offering to pay double membership because they knew that people had cancelled their memberships for us being closed to keep us afloat. And it was times like that it really embedded in me about that sense of community and what we have at the gym. And the sport it wasn't part of what we were doing. It had contributed nothing towards us staying open as a gym. The sport did nothing for that, whereas my community did. And that was the turning point for me in terms of where I aligned. That was just me personally. So we've got the timeline there. COVID's behind us. Let's put that to bed now. So that's gone. 2021, it starts to kind of get back to normal-ish. By the end of 21, going into 22, we're all good. So we've got, I noticed we've got part of your community, obviously, is quite rightly revolves around the sport. So you've got a guy. So I'm just bringing him up. So you have got in 2023 a trip over to the CrossFit Games. Who's this guy? Do you want to talk me through this fella?
Yeah, so he's a coach at our gym. His name is Gintas. He competed in Masters division, 35 to 40 years old, and he took sixth place at the CrossFit Games.
Awesome.
So he's there's not we are like 5 coaches. So that's the that's the amount of coaches that work in this gym, and there's no rotation. So we're like everyone is a big part of this gym. Maybe not everyone is the owner, but everyone it has a strong impact on everything. And Gintas is a very important figure in our gym, not only because he's a great athlete, of course. It's a big part, but he's a even better person.
Lovely.
Always willing to help. He's like a very simple man. He's not the words talk about him, but the actions. And I'm not talking about his game performance. It's his passion. It's his passion. Of course, we are CrossFit gym. Of course, we are very proud of him. At 2023, when he qualified for the games, I think it was a dream come true, not only to him but the whole community. It was one of the best summers. 2023 summer, because everyone was on the waiting mode till this day when competition already started.
It's funny because what you've just said there is for me what CrossFit used to be like with the games athletes, the indies, so the under 35s. It used to be they were one of the community, they were a coach, sometimes they were on the staff the L1 staff, but they were part of that community. Often one of the owners or one of the good, the better coaches at the gym or more senior coaches. And when they qualified for the games, the whole community was on board because it was one of them. There was this sense of like one of us. And I think what you've identified there is the difference, I think, between the Masters athletes qualifying for the Masters games now. They're usually embedded in the community a lot more than the elite games athletes now because of the way that the sport's gone. So I think that's where the Masters has really come about itself. It's become a lot bigger the last couple of years because of that. And I think CrossFit are doing a really good job of promoting that.
I think first of all, Gintas is the only Lithuanian who ever qualified for the games through the whole qualifying system. We remember there was a year, I don't remember which one, when
19.
the national champion so of course there was a Lithuanian back then, but he was living in Dublin. So he was still Lithuanian, but it's not the same. It didn't felt the same.
No.
Of course he's a great man. He did good. He took 40th place, so it's still very high. So but Gintas was the first Lithuanian who qualified for the actual games through the whole qualifying system. And the big how whole Lithuania showed their they all came together because he started this crowdfunding for the games. He was raising maybe 6,000 euros. He counted that it would be enough. Yes, but he gathered 10,000 in less than 6 hours, and everyone was donating. I'm not sure, but it's under 12 hours. He just shut down this crowdfund because he said it's too much. We need to stop it. Everyone was telling, don't stop it, leave it for a bit. You will be able to relax after, but he's a simple man.
Wow, that's incredible.
Best two words who can describe Gintas is a simple man. He
said,
that's enough. I'm shutting it down. Because before this period there was a lot of because of Lithuania very small, everyone maybe it's jealousy, maybe there was still some situations when Gintas was trying to qualify to the next qualifying
quarters or
qualifying system to the Open, and there was a time that everyone who has a judge could valid his score, and it took for 3 to 5 judges to valid your score. And there was one situation where judges members from other gym made his score, which was top 10 in the world, invalid. So it was so there was a time, and we always thought that we are not enemies, but everyone is on their own. You have your members, other gyms have their members. We're no one each other. We compete, we smile, we shake hands, but behind closed doors there was always competition. But at that moment, somehow everybody knew that he represents the whole country.
Yes.
So he represents the one person represents the whole country, and everyone was so united, and they just
that's lovely.
It was mind blowing. It was it wasn't my own crowdfund, but I felt like winning a lot. I was every 2 minutes, every 5 minutes, and showing my wife, look, he already has 3,000. After 10 minutes, look, it's already 4,000. And it's
that's so.
It was fun.
That's so interesting, isn't it? It's such a unique position to be in, because there's not many sports where you'd need to do that, and especially someone in the Masters division. But it's testament to him as a person that people felt that they wanted to. That and testament to Lithuanian CrossFit, you know, for going, right, you're one of us. We want you to go. Here you go to represent us. So what a lovely kind of moment that would have been for him as well. So you've got the trip there. Now, I want to talk about like the Open this year quickly. I've taken up a lot of your time today, so I don't want to take up too much more.
Don't
the
bother,
Open,
it's Sundays. I have time.
as long as you're all right, we're good. So the Open this year just gone. Did you? I saw a couple of your posts on the Instagram page, so I know that you were kind of, you know, you partook and you promoted it. But how did it go? Like in hindsight, how did you run the Open? Did you have much participation in it?
Yeah, we did it same as we did last year. We have this Saturdays are dedicated for the Open. So after the classes that are held until 12 a.m. Over, we start doing Open. So of course we promote it to people, but we're not pushing. If you want to participate,
Yep.
you have the opportunity. You will be given the official judge to validate, to count your reps, to check if everything is performed according to those standards. Yeah, so we create the opportunity. We are like informing people before it begins that it's coming. We were preparing for the whole year. Who likes to check on their current performance level to compare it with the last year. We are like giving you an opportunity. Let's go on Saturday. We will be doing it together. So so 3 weeks every Saturday. We like separated in heats, like 5-6 person heats, and they were doing like open workouts. Scale or risk, how they chose to perform.
And the uptake on those Saturday sessions, was it a mixed crowd? Was it different people within the gym, different, you know, scaled athletes, foundations? Was it predominantly like your more kind of sporty types, or was it community? Was it broad across the gym?
Community is pretty young in our gym. We don't have old members. We have classes for seniors, but they are like doing this modified program.
Yes.
They're not doing like strict CrossFit. Yeah. So there was a different. Of course, the biggest part of open workouts were performed RX. Maybe not all of it, but like 90% for sure. But I wouldn't say that only strong people participated who are like really in a good physique. There was all types of people, men, women, older, younger, scale. Nobody did foundations. I don't know. We don't have those type of people that do foundations.
No.
There is some, but they choose not to participate. There's still like this stigma in Lithuania. If you're not good, you shouldn't even bother. Even though we are like working on it, we are not pushing, because if you push something, you will scare people away.
Yes,
but it's a process. It takes time, because one girl who is in a awesome shape, she did one muscle up in 25.2. She did her first open workout after 10 years of doing CrossFit. It was her first, because a few years before we were saying, look, you're in a good shape, you will easily manage to do all workouts. Maybe you won't be top 100 in the world, but you'll still be good. And it was first time she did, and she was very, very happy. So that it takes time. For some people it takes longer. For some people, they want to try themselves immediately. So everyone is different. So
It's and those kind of stories where, you know, where someone's been coming for 10 years and then it's their first, you know, they decide to do it for the first time. It's those that make the magic open, and the open magic. And, you know, getting a muscle up in that workout when she wouldn't have really have done that, the emotional attachment, she'll remember that, and you'll remember that. You know, it will keep with her for the whole year. And next year, when registration opens, you've then got the example of why she should do it. So it's a lovely feeling as a gym owner and as a coach to see that happen. So one thing I was going to come back to from earlier, and it's going to relate back to something that you said, your coaching style. So you as an individual, your coaching style. You said earlier about your football coach used to shout at you and it put you off.
Yeah.
Do you remember that when you're coaching? Does that stay in your mind and make sure that you're not one of the shouty coaches, the drill sergeant? What's your coaching style?
I would say I have this part in me when I'm not like drill sergeant. Of course, I'm not hard on people, but I'm strict with some sort of things like movement standards. I'm not like pushing you down by my hands to reach the parallel. And with every year, I becoming more soft about it. But at the beginning, I was pretty strict about some things. Sometimes I was talking louder because I was passionate. I couldn't recall that I were shouting on someone because I would like to think that I wasn't. Because comparing to this football coach, he was not only shouting, he was cursing at children. So it's a different level. So I teach grown people. It's a different conversation. So main thing I'm trying to process in my head that don't never think that you are smarter than anyone else.
Yes.
Because maybe you have more knowledge at this area, and you're trying to give them because you feel like they came to you, and you were obliged to lead them through this whole CrossFit process and this CrossFit experience, and you want to make it right, and you you are hard on yourself. That's why you sometimes become hard on the others. But it's so, but I wouldn't to say that I'm very, very hard or very strict. Of course, it depends on the mood. Some days I'm very chit chatty. Some days it depends. No one is one type. Everyone is a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
The best coaches that I've experienced, and something that I try to remind myself, you know, time and time again, is firstly, no matter what kind of day that you've had as an individual. So Povilas has a terrible night's sleep, his baby's screaming, he can't eat breakfast, he's got a headache. As soon as you step in that gym door and you've got 10 to 15 people waiting for you to coach, you swallow all of that, you paint on the smile, and you get to work, and it's the best hour of their day. But on the flip side of that one, those people all understand that you're human as well. You know, you are allowed to feel a certain way. So I think there's an element there of like a chameleon, you know, like a reptile with the time it changes its skin color. As a CrossFit coach especially, we have so many different types of people come in the gym into a single class. You can have everyone from a 16-year-old gymnast up to an 80-year-old guy that's never been in the gym before, and everyone in between. You have to be able to adapt your tone, so the way that you talk, the content of what you're saying. Some people need to hear a lot of talk. Others need to be visually, you know, shown. Other people need to, you know, feel it and change it and manipulate it physically. You need to, as a good coach, you need to be able to do that. You need to be able to change your tone, your style, and what you're trying to achieve from individuals, don't you? So it's interesting that you said that about the, you know, your different people in your gym. I saw that you do a teens class. I just pulled it up a minute ago. Is that something
Yeah.
that you've been doing for a little while now?
Yeah, we are doing it like for 3 years, I would
Right.
say. Yeah, we have those teenage classes.
Mm.
They are divided into groups. The younger ones who are like under 15 years old and a little bit older. So those are like under 15
Yeah.
years old children.
Right. Great. Do you know what? And the reason I bring that up is there was Savon had a guy called Chris Cooper on the show. I think it was yesterday, might have been the day before. And they were talking about the evolution of CrossFit gyms and how we run and operate CrossFit gyms and our offering, what we offer people, speciality classes. PT was the one that came up. And I want to get your take on that before we kind of start to look at other things. But your offerings at your gym. Now, I've seen on the Instagram and on your website that you do a lot of different styles of classes. Was that something that you did from the beginning when you opened? Was it something that you intended to do? So your speciality classes, your different team classes, do you do personal training? So one-on-one work? Do you offer different things?
So this gym, our gym, what we opened, it's already our third gym we working in. So we worked in different environments where they had different specialty classes, and we kind of checked through the practice what works, what doesn't. So we had the, of course, we added few specialty classes like PT and those masters classes for the older people. Yeah, so we are like we're searching, we are trying. We try something new, and then we are just checking if it will work or not. So after 5 years, we think for this period of time, this structure suits best as we think. It's our opinion.
Good. That's good to hear. Because it was just interesting to me that some of the feedback that they were getting on the show was that people were saying, but this was one example, is there's a 3:30 p.m. class, and it's had an average of 3 people attending it for the last year. Remove that class from your timetable and add in an hour slot for PTs to come, and you'll earn more. Just purely from a business perspective, that you'll earn more revenue. And the kickback that they got from just suggesting that idea, it was interesting to hear, because a lot of the other gyms that refuse to change like that, they're stuck in their ways and they're not trying different things, and they're not trying to have these classes because they're stuck in the old school CrossFit way of there's 5 WODs planned throughout the day. It's just the CrossFit classes and that's that. But things, I think, have evolved and changed. And I think by the sounds of it, what I've seen on your website and the Instagram, it looks like you guys are constantly striving to put the best offering out there to survive as a business and to give people what they want. Because that's obviously part of being a gym. You have to balance between what do I want to coach? What do I think and know best for people? But at the same time, people are paying you money. They're going to, if you don't offer something that they want, they're going to go somewhere else. So it's this balancing act. So, and I think by the looks of it, you guys have done a really good job of balancing all of that. One last thing I wanted to ask you about was, I just loved it. So one thing that I always ask everyone on this show is, what do you think is one unique thing about your gym that you do that you may not have seen someone else do? Is there anything that you kind of feel like you do that other people don't? Maybe you can have a think about that. But one thing that I saw that I'm really impressed with, and I don't know if it's a regular thing or not, but your summer camps.
Yeah, but
So
it's not. We are not the only ones who does it. I think like most of the gyms, CrossFit gyms in Lithuania, have those summer camps.
Okay.
So it's a thing in Lithuania. People love people like it. So it's one more opportunity for the community to gather together in a different environment and to get to know each other better. So yeah, so it was an annual. So it is an annual thing. So we are like doing it every year. We have different kind of activities. It's still around uh, physical activities, but uh, uh, as years goes by, we invest our time in more like in between those physical activities, in between classes, in between like I don't know, riding bikes. Like everyone is gathering together, like grilling meat, preparing foods, like chit chatting, just simple communication.
Yeah.
Like sharing, I don't know, different kinds of stuff. It doesn't matter what, just communicating with people you train. Because when you train, when your beats, when your heart is racing like 170 beats per minute, you not always find time to like get to know each other, because you work 1 hour in and out. You came after your job, you did a grueling workout, you went to shower, and you drive home to prepare, I don't know, to take care of your family and so on. So yeah, so it's a very great opportunity to slow things down, to really get to know each other, to spend time together, and just to appreciate the thing, to appreciate the thing we all created together, this community.
Yeah. And so in this video that we're playing at the moment, is that just your affiliate? Is that Laisve members?
Yeah, it's all, yeah.
Right.
It's,
Okay.
there are always like a few people, like relatives, that are not active members, but they're always around. So I would say it's all Laisve members.
But the thing is, and you said, you know, you kind of earlier on when I brought this up, you kind of not dismissed it, but you kind of said all the Lithuanian boxes do this, and it, you know, it's fairly common in there. This is really, really uncommon everywhere else. Like I've seen, you know, CrossFit barbell camps where people go away to Menorca, or you know, they're hosted by the box there, and people travel and they put it on. But one thing that I very, very rarely, I'm trying to remember a time that I've seen this. This is very reminiscent of the videos from, like, you know, thrown in, you know, of Mayhem early days, when they would have the slide pull and they'd have workouts going on at the back of the barn and that kind of feel. This is really unique. This is lovely to see. It's applying everything that we talk about with CrossFit, with community and functional fitness. This is so good to see. And it's how far do you travel away from, like, with where you are with the gym? How far away is this camp where you go?
It's like 150, 130 kilometers. It's in Lithuania. Is nothing is that far. So furthest part from us is like is 300 kilometers to the sea. So we already call it very big distance. It takes like 3 hour, 4 hour drive. So for Lithuanians, it's a long distance, but still compared to the others, it's nothing. So so it's like 2 or 1.5 hour drive to this
but again,
area like, located next to the lake. So it's like this place is created for those type of events. They have one building that is looks like a CrossFit gym. It's pretty small. Of course, there's not a lot of inventory, but it looks like CrossFit gym. And they have other buildings where people live, sleep, and eat. So it's the big area.
But again, like, so with the every show that we've done so far, interviewing people, like we've had Irish, Maltese, Dutch, and yourself so far this month, and every single one of them has something completely unique, and it's always community based that we see this. And those camps are a really cool idea, and hopefully, like, I'm certainly going to take this back to my gym and talk to the guys that are the owners and say, look, is this something that we can do? Because like I said, we live on a very small island in the Irish Sea. Like you said, I can travel one side of the island to the other is about 20-minute drive, and that's the whole up and down. Some people might not like that. I do, but there's so many places like that, and it can be organized. All it takes is that effort and the spark of an idea from somewhere, and these kind of things are really strong community bonding activities, and it's a retention tool for you, for your members. They will not forget that trip. It's such an important part of CrossFit, and I think it's such a beautiful thing that you've got there. It's lovely to see.
Everyone is already waiting for the coming next summer.
And
asking when we will be able to register already to the summer camp. Because spots are limited, because there's a limited amount of beds. Everyone who will get this faster.
What a great position to be in, eh? So just to recap then, I'm just going to show your website. So another thing, a really important part for CrossFit gyms and for potential CrossFit members nowadays is to go to the website and have a look at the reviews, have a look at what people have said about you, about the gym that you're about to go to. And they're glowing reviews, all over the internet. Everyone's, says about how amazing CrossFit Freedom is, or Laisve. So you've got an incredible gym there, and what a story you've got. I know obviously it's your story, so you don't really probably think about it too often, but young guy in and out of sports, not quite deciding on what he wants to do, turns 18, has a look for something to help him with his sport of karate, stumbles across YouTube videos of CrossFit, decides he wants to look and feel and move like those guys that he's seen, tries CrossFit on his own, goes to a CrossFit gym when they open, gets his first job on the front desk, learns all about the community of CrossFit, how it operates, how it runs, gets that really important understanding of logistics, of membership types, of sales, of retention, does his L1, starts his own gym, and then here we are 6 years later, and you've got a thriving community. You've got a Masters Games athlete as one of your coaches. You've got summer camps going, and you're going from strength to strength. Like that's a CrossFit like kind of story. That's a CrossFit novel. That's to be celebrated. So, and I know you probably don't think about it too often. You probably know how fortunate you are, and you said the word lucky earlier, but luck part of it. But I think fortunate.
The only word I can't come up is I feel lucky.
But it's fortunate.
Maybe it's a great feeling. Maybe when you do the right, when you're in the right path, the thing that it's meant for you, you will always feel lucky, because it's very natural for you. You're not need to roll over your head all the time to make it right. You just go by how you feel. And that's it. And I don't know. I feel lucky, but of course I had to work to strive to it. It still took some effort.
I can't remember who said
that I was on this path, because I don't regret anything. Everything led me to this this moment.
And I can't remember who said it. It's a famous quote, but the harder I work, the luckier I get. So all that hard work you've put in has led you to where you are, and it's good to be fortunate. It's good to understand and appreciate. I think appreciate is probably the word. You appreciate the path that you're on and the hard work that you've been able to put in, the people that have come around you, the community, the opportunities you've had. But then again, think about that 1,000 kilometer bus ride that you took to get your L1 in Poland. That's not luck. That's hard work. There's not many 18 or 19-year-olds that would do that. So, give yourself some credit. But yeah, Ovelas, it's been so nice to hear your story and how your gym opened. And it's it was really cool understanding and all the, you know, looking into your gym and the research and about Lithuania, about the incredible country it is. So thank you so much for sharing all of that. It has genuinely been a really lovely, you know, experience for me to understand all that. And I'm sure people watching this, you know, recorded or live, have taken a lot away from that. So thank you for being part of that. Thank you for building that community. I'm sure they're very appreciative of you and all your hard work that you do. So thank you for that. Thank you for all the hours of effort. But we're going to leave it there. So thank you so much, Povilas. And if you just hold on, I'm just going to wrap up the show now and we can have a chat after. But thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate you all joining in. Some of you Americans, well, like Judy was up in the middle of the night watching this. So thank you so much. I will be on the show tomorrow with Box from Athens. So join me then a bit later on at 11 a.m. our time. So Americans, it'll probably be 6, 7 a.m. for your time. But again, once again, thank you very much, Povilas. Thank you for joining us. And guys, I'll see you all tomorrow.